I would like to welcome you to this weekend devotional. I spent the day going to town, doing some things that we needed to get done before going to an event tomorrow. And at noon, I had finished things, and my wife had left, and had went out the back door and closed it, locked it, and then reached in my pocket for my keys, and they were gone. And I began to try to think back. Where might I have laid those keys? Where could I have lost those keys? What could I have possibly done with them between the time I left the house at 9 o'clock and the time I came back at 12:30? It's a whole lot of keys. They're my pickup keys, my church keys, my keys to the house, keys to locks, keys to everything that I have. When we lose things like that, we begin to become frantic. I went into my room and I looked at where I would usually lay them, and I went to the dirty clothes hamper and I pulled out the pair of pants with which I would have carried them in, and I checked every room that I'd been in, and they were gone. And I thought, well, I'll check my pickup. I had locked the door, and I'll check my pickup. I'd let my daughter let me back in. Oh, well, they must be in the pickup. I left them there overnight. The door locked. I walked out of the pickup, and they're gone. And so then I really became frantic. I began looking hard for those keys. I got my daughter to answer the door once more and let me in, because I'd realized that as I didn't find the keys there in that pickup, I couldn't go into the church building. I didn't have keys to get there. And that was frantic. Keys cost a lot of money to make, even more difficulty to find the things that you need, especially car keys. Or what keys did I lose? Cut locks. And I called my wife. I said, would you go check in your car, see if the keys are there? And when I came back, she said, yes. Well, there was great relief and great joy that she had the keys. I was willing to drive that 26 miles overall to have those keys in my hand. At today's cost of gas, that's pretty joyous. That being said, I want us to think about something, because I think each of us go through this when we lose something. There's great anxieties about it being lost, and once it's found, there's great joy. That being said, I want you to think about something. In Luke, the 15th chapter, he's speaking, and as a child of God, we ought to take these things and think about them and mull them over. In Luke, the 15th chapter, verse 2, he says, and so he told them a parable. Well, let's go back to 1. Now the tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to hear him, and the Pharisees and scribes grumbled, saying, this man receives sinners and eats with them. And so he told them a parable. What man of you, having 100 sheep, if he has lost one of them, does not leave the 99 in the open country and go after the one that is lost until he finds it? And when he has found it, he lays it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And when he comes home, he calls together his friends, his neighbors, saying to them, rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep that was lost. Just so I tell you, there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who need no repentance. Or what woman, having 10 silver coins, if she loses one coin, does not light a lamp and sweep the house and seek diligently until she finds it? And when she had found it, she calls together with her friends and neighbors, saying, rejoice with me, for I have found the coin that I lost. Just so I tell you, there is joy before the angels of God over one sinner who repents. Well, this was Jesus. He was doing this work, and yet he seeks us. He seeks us as his children to do his work, to do the things he asks us to do, to follow or to walk our lives as Christ walked. That being said, let us think about this. In Luke, the 19th chapter, in verse 9 and 10, this is after he has seen Zacchaeus. He's called him down out of the tree and he goes to eat with him. Starting in verse 9, he said, and Jesus said to him, today salvation has come to this house, to the house of Zacchaeus. And since he is a son of Abraham, for the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost. This Jesus, this one who was Christ as he walked the earth, he came to seek and save the lost. He left this great privilege to us to seek and save the lost. We have such anxiety over a set of lost keys, or over, with me, a pocket knife, or a tool of some kind that I cannot find. I spend great time, great diligence in looking for that one object. And when I find that object, I have great relief and I have a great joy within. How much more important to a child of God should that one who is lost be to us? How much more important the task of seeking that one who is lost and bringing them back to Christ, bringing them back to God. We as children of God have the greatest of privileges of showing others who this Christ is, of showing them the love of God. Should we not carry much more anxiety in caring for those? Should we not show much more joy in showing them who the Lord is? Sometimes we need to get our priorities where they belong. We need to realize that lost keys, lost knives, lost tools are not a big deal. They're replaceable. But one that is lost to God, if no one seeks to show him the way, is eternally lost. He said the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost. That's what he's left us with. That is what he's given us as his children. Let us seek to do the things that God asks us to do. I want to thank you for being here today, and may God bless.